I'm joined by Democratic Congressmember Jared Moskowitz. Congressman, I want to share with you the very serious work being done by your MAGA Republican colleagues in the House Judiciary. This is what they were posting this week. They thought that this was something that deserved to be on their official House Judiciary GOP account, a photo of Donald Trump as the eclipse. Your comment, Congressman.
Well, first of all, I don't know how many of your viewers have young kids, but I have young kids. And I can tell you they are super excited for Despicable Me 4, okay, which that clearly was an advertisement for, the return of Gru, okay? And I'm just glad the House Judiciary has Despicable Me fever, because I really think that Steve Carell is going to do his best work in the next movie.
So in addition to posting Donald Trump as the eclipse, you have MAGA Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene and some others threatening to remove MAGA Mike Johnson as the Speaker of the House, saying that MAGA Mike Johnson is actually secretly a Democrat working for the Democratic Party to advance President Biden's agenda. Your response?
Well, first of all, this is the same Mike Johnson, by the way, who literally was trying to craft a way for Donald Trump to stay in office against the Constitution. He's one of the most conservative members of the House. He is in no way doing Joe Biden's bidding, and everybody knows that. The one thing I want to tell the American people, quite frankly, is we got to stop giving Marjorie any oxygen on this issue. Like just the catnip with Marjorie in the media, it's just enough. She doesn't have the votes. It's not going to happen. Democrats would not let Marjorie Taylor Greene name a post office, okay? This is someone that wants a national divorce. She wants to secede from the union. We're not going to let her remove the speaker. It's not going to happen. Democrats won't do it. So she doesn't have the votes. So, hey, Mike Johnson, Speaker, Moses, if you're listening, okay, don't worry. Don't lose sleep over Marge. We're not going to let her take you away. Now, someone else, who knows? But not Marge. It's not going to happen.
So he's not secretly in the Democratic cloakroom or the caucus room. He's not there. He's
as someone of almost equal height, I'm happy to stand next to Mike Johnson at all times. I mean, there's some members here that I can't stand next to or take photos with. I look like a tiny baby. But Mike is welcome. He is welcome. We'll have a little coffee. We have hot dogs. Nancy and Steny eat these hot dogs. They love them. I've had a couple. They're fine. But they're doing great. So maybe there's something to these hot dogs.
Look, I understand your point that we shouldn't be giving Marjorie Taylor Greene oxygen, but the MAGA Republican Party sure is. Donald Trump sure is. And unfortunately, she's not a fringe figure in that party. She sits on major committees that you're a member of, where she has a major position and platform to say the types of things that she says. She's also with Donald Trump at all of his rallies. So she was shoulder to shoulder, though, with the former Speaker of the House, which, other than a president of the United States, is one of the most powerful positions in our government. And in terms of the Republican leader right now, who's Donald Trump, she's as close to him as anyone. And I don't think it is, that outrageous to believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene could have a major position, even a cabinet position, in a future Trump administration.
No, and I agree with all that. And I agree. There is no doubt that she is a power center within the Republican Party. There's no doubt that she's got a significant base, significant fundraising. She got books. She goes on tours. She appears with Donald Trump all the time. There's no doubt within that circle that she's a big deal. I just want to assure the American people that Democrats aren't going to sit by and allow Marjorie Taylor Greene to stand in the well of Congress and take over the people's house. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen. That's not saving Johnson, okay? That is saving the American people from someone who wants states to start seceding from the union, who, by the way, when they see Arizona bring back laws from 1864, she's pissed that it's not the 1700s.
Well, Donald Trump was in Atlanta speaking about his statement on abortion, but before doing that, he wanted to issue a statement on Jews. You are a Jewish member of Congress. You're Jewish. I'm Jewish. Let me share with you what Donald Trump's statement about the Jewish community is, which we'll just play it.
And any Jewish person that votes for a Democrat or votes for Biden should have their head examined.
Any Jewish person who votes for Democrats or President Biden should have their head examined. Your response?
Well, I mean, listen, right? As Adam Sandler would say, Donald Trump, not a Jew. And so, at the end of the day, I'm not taking any of my Judaism advice from Donald. He wants to drive this wedge again in the Jewish people. We've seen this run before, trying to do it. He did it in the last election. His words are getting more and more divisive. But I don't care what Donald Trump has said. Now, I want you to know that as a Democrat, as a Jew, as someone who supports Israel, I had my head examined. All is well. So there's nothing to be concerned about for the former president, although I do appreciate his well wishes. And look, quite frankly, at any time, right, there could be another dinner that Donald wants to have with Nick Fuentes and Kanye West, two close friends of his mentors that inspire him, where they can have the best piece of chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago together.
I know you're a collector of basketball sneakers. You're in the Sneaker Caucus, a bipartisan group of sneaker aficionados. Did you play basketball ever growing up?
Again, you've seen the vertical issues that I have. And so
I'm not sure.
I'm surprised that you would ask such a question where you're actually inquiring. I was a basketball fan. I did play basketball, but did I play basketball in anything other than going to the local courts in my town? No. No one would draft me. Okay, now I should have been a sports agent. That was always kind of like a dream of mine. Looking at David Falcon, like what he did with Jordan is amazing. No, I was just a huge Jordan fan growing up. I was in awe of Michael Jordan. I grew up in the 90s. I mean, Jordan, everyone wanted to be like Mike.
So the reason why I was asking is, how from watching basketball, then when you find out that someone doesn't have the ability to dribble with their left hand and they can only go right, and so they only have one move, and then the coach would say, just guard them that way. They only go right. Trump only has really one move, maybe two moves. Number one is just divide people. Go into any community, whether it's an African-American community, a Jewish community, a Muslim, whatever community, and just try to divide people, the country, America, and pit people against each other. And then, as we've seen with Lara Trump recently, with these robocalls, just whine about the 2020 election.
Don't speak ill about her. Don't speak ill of her, because that is a national music sensation, Lara Trump. Now continue.
And that's their move, right? You got Lara Trump robocalling, or people on her behalf whining about the 2020 election and saying that it was filled with fraud, and that's what they're running on. And then it's Trump just dividing community. They haven't put forward any do you know what the Republicans even stand for?
Yes, yes. It's Make America Great Again.
Anything else that you're aware of that they actually stand for?
Yeah, it's Make America Great. America's not great. We're going to make it great. How do you not know this? How do you not know this? We have laid it out in detail in the platform, in the policy papers about how America's not great and how we're going to make it great again.
Let me show you this, though. Donald Trump in Atlanta, Georgia. Before that, he issued his statement on abortion. Donald Trump.
That's going well.
That's going well. Let me show you what he said in Atlanta. Let's play this clip.
Question. You answered some questions about abortion, but do you think a doctor should be punished who perform abortions?
I'll let that be to the states. Everything we're doing now is states and states' rights. And what we wanted to do is get it back to the states, because for 53 years it's been a fight. And now the states are handling it, and some have handled it very well, and the others will end up handling it very well. And those are the things that states are going to make a determination about. Okay?
States should punish
states are going to handle it very well. The big states, the small states.
States should punish doctors for providing reproductive care to women is one of the issues that Donald Trump is running on, and that your colleagues, the MAGA Republicans, are running on. Actually, your MAGA Republican colleagues want a national ban. They're upset that he doesn't go far, that Trump didn't go far enough in that statement. What do you make of his statement and everything?
Well, Donald's running away, right? The only thing he's embracing is the thing he did, right? Which is total Donald, right? I guess his party runs away from the vaccine. He still embraces the vaccine because he did that. right? And so he did Roe v. Wade, getting rid of Roe v. Wade, allowing this chaos to ensue. So he still embraces that. But everything after that, all of the results of that policy, nope, not him. And so Donald's like, I have a great idea. I'm going to go out. I'm going to announce my policy of leaving it to the states. And then Arizona, you go to the next day and tell people how you feel. And Arizona's like, thanks, Donald. Appreciate you leaving it to us. We feel that we want to bring back the policies of 1864, which was right around the time that Abraham Lincoln was buying theater tickets. That's when, John Wilkes Booth became a popular figure in American culture. That is what, Donald Trump stands for. So they're running away from it, running away from this abortion issue, women's rights, women's health care. They know they're in trouble. You can just see it. They freaked out over the IVF issue. Now they're freaking out over Arizona. As it turns out, right, we are now finding out exactly where they are. Again, I appreciate their honesty, telling the American people, telling women where they stand. And that is bringing back the policies of 175 years ago.
You and I have been doing these interviews now almost every week for several months. And one of the things that I've noticed over this period of time is that there really does seem to be a major momentum shift here in the electorate about people recognizing and appreciating the stakes. And it feels like we're in almost a completely different discussion right now in April than we were when you and I were having these discussions back in January. Are you feeling that momentum back at home in Florida even? And are you feeling that change in Washington, D.C.?
Definitely a shift. There's no doubt about it. We shouldn't get overconfident, by the way. We still have challenges. We got to make sure people turn out to vote. We got to make sure we deal with the issue in a lot of states of voting by mail, where a lot of roles have been cleared by Republicans trying to disenfranchise people. We got to make sure that we're talking about the economy, right? We got to make sure that we're talking to minority voters. We got to make sure that we're, engaging parts of the Democratic Party on the left that feel disenchanted about the president's policy toward the Middle East. And so, we have to still do our job. But yes, we are now in a binary choice. Right, we're now done with the Republican primary. We have our two nominees. As Joe Biden says, don't judge me against the almighty, judge me against the alternative. Well, here we go, right? This is it. This is the ball game. Voting for Cornel West or Kennedy Jr. or somebody else is throwing your vote away. It's letting someone else decide whether it's going to be Biden or Trump, because it's going to be one of those two. And so, look, I think you're seeing more desperation from Donald Trump lately in the last couple of weeks because the poll numbers are changing. He sees it. He's seeing the shift in the polling. And so there is no doubt as we get to this binary choice that the American people are starting to pay attention, and they're starting to understand what the consequences will be. It was a great focus group I watched the other day on MSNBC, which showed people asking, they were asking the focus group about Joe Biden and the economy. Right. And people are upset about interest rates and inflation. And they were putting that kind of on the president's lap, even though obviously interest rates are done by the Fed trying to control inflation, which comes a lot after COVID. And America has less inflation than any other country of our size and our economic capacity in the world at the moment. But they are putting that at Biden's footsteps. And you're like, oh, this is not going well. And then as soon as they ask people, well, how do you feel about Donald Trump? It was diarrhea of the mouth. They were talking over each other. They couldn't get out fast enough how he wasn't an option for them. And I think that's where we're at. People might not be thrilled with Joe for a bunch of different reasons, some of it based on just maybe incorrect information, stuff that's been sold to them that's not true. But I think they're starting to realize that Donald's not an alternative.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Maybe next time. And we'll be talking about the policies of the 1630s.
And maybe you and I will get some one-on-one basketball in when I'm in Washington, D.C. We'll tape that.
Okay,
maybe.
Don't challenge me. I could surprise you.
I love it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to that 3 million subscriber mark. Have a good one.
Real quick, Meta just changed their algorithm to suppress political content. Please follow our Instagram @MeidasTouch right now as we head towards 400,000 followers so you don't miss a beat.